Okay, and one of the parts of Derech Eretz is how we speak to our friends and speak to other people around us. The Torah commands us explicitly in the Torah that onad dvarim is forbidden. One time the Torah tells us do not cheat or hurt one another. That's referring to cheating in business, overcharging and undercharging. And then also another time the Torah tells us again the same commandment. It's referring to not hurting each other with words. With words means saying hurtful words, insulting words to one another. Even if it's for a joke, a person should not go and call each other names. The Gemara says that a person gets judged for this, that he calls his friend a nickname, and this nickname he doesn't want. He wants people to call him by his name, but to call him this nickname because maybe he's a little bit on the heavier side, because he's on the short side, or whatever it may be, it's a sort to do this, even though you think it's funny, even though you think that it's just a joke. The way a person gets accustomed to doing this, and you may come to joke with somebody who's going to take it serious, and it leads to a lot of difficult situations. Therefore, you don't want to hurt anybody. You have to make sure that what you say, you say proper and nice and uplifting things. A lot of times, when you don't have nothing good to say, so that's when you start making, janganozi with other people. You start insulting. You start saying. You have a saying that men insult each other and they don't mean it. Women compliment each other and they don't mean it. And then we think that that's okay because everybody does it, but it's not appropriate to say insulting words to anybody. David the Melech, he was a famous story in Masechet Bamitzia where they used to tell him, they used to remind him of the sins of the past. They told him, Rabbi, David the Melech was giving shiur. He said, Rabbi, what's halacha if somebody slept with a married woman? What punishment does he get? So he says, you're right, he gets one of the capital punishments, but he can do teshuvah and he has olam haba. However, the person who embarrasses his friend in public, ein lo chelek olam haba. He loses the chelek olam haba. So you see that they were trying to nazlo, to embarrass David the Melech in public, to say, insinuate that he was like, he slept with Bathsheba, a married woman, but he was telling them, you should know, you think that what I did is bad, what you're doing is worse. If a person loses the chelek olam haba, embarrassing his friend by calling him insulting in words, or by reminding him of sins in the past, it's onat dvarim, to say to a ger, or to say to a bal teshuvah, oh, you're religious, you're holy now, oh, you remember you used to go and eat pig, we used to see you, you remember you used to drive on Shabbat, you remember? So you go and you do this in front of other people, how much more so it's embarrassing, it's hurting the person. So you're not allowed to say that. Even if a person went through a traumatic event, he went through a loss, he suffered a loss, someone lost their father, and you're talking about my father this, my father that. It's from being sensitive and being derech eretz. This guy, every time I talk about this, he's going to be hurting, he's going to remember his loss. So therefore, to have derech eretz, even what you talk about in front of certain people, is also part of the derech eretz, and not hurting people with your words, even indirectly, even by accident. So therefore, a person has to watch what he says, and he has to learn to say good things. When you don't have anything good to say, that's when you're going to resort to insults. So that's when you're going to resort to making jokes about people, to make conversation. A person has to learn how to have good words in order to avoid these tests of making fun of other people. Because the Gemara says that it's a very big sin. It's just as important in any negative transgression in the Torah to be careful not to insult our friends when we speak to them. A lot of times yelling, it's not derech eretz to yell when you're speaking to somebody, and a person could think that you're angry at them, or you think that you're disrespecting them when you yell over them. It's not derech eretz. The Mishnah Perkei Avot says derech eretz of a Talmid Chacham, he waits till the other person finishes. Whereas a lot of times when people have different opinions, when they're arguing about, let's say, some fact, or they're arguing about some Torah matter, they grab the other guy and say, and he starts cutting him off, and he starts telling him, he grabbed his arm and he starts talking over him. It's not derech eretz. If you have the emet, let him say what he says, you'll say what you say, and your words should make you win the argument. Just because you yell louder and you grab the arm, like we're in the shuk, doesn't mean that you're going to be correct. That's not how you win an argument. You win an argument because what you're saying is emet. You don't need to do all these antics to get the truth. So therefore, a person has to make sure that he waits till his friend finishes his sentence, then he speaks, and he doesn't yell, raise his voice. People can take it the wrong way. So the basics of how to argue and how to speak, even when Talmidei Chachamim argue, they always say, forgive me, your honor, I still honor you, even though I still have a different opinion. So therefore, a person has to always never forget that you have to give the honor to the person. If someone hurt you, you have to tell them also. The Rambam says that a person shouldn't keep, if somebody hurt them in their heart, you shouldn't do Rambam says you should go and tell them, why did you speak to me like that? Why did you do that to me? I don't want to hate you in my heart. Let's make up. Let's forgive each other and move on. So B'ezrat Hashem, with this kind of way of guarding our way of speech, we should be able to be friends with everybody and never have any sichsuch, never have any argument that Chas v'sholom, I don't speak to him or he doesn't speak to me. Chas v'sholom, we should never have such a thing. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.